living, yeah.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. So I'm feeling very cheetah-y today, and I have on my pajama set and I have on my robe, and you guys saw in the unboxing, this is my robe that I bought for the hospital, but it's really, really comfy, and it's kind of chilly in my house. I don't know about you guys, but it's getting a little cold, but I'm just not quite ready to turn on the heater because some days are hot and I be sweating. So today I'm going to be real with you guys, and by real I mean all the way real. Like, you see my hair is not done, haven't even brushed it. I am in my PJs, which usually I'm not even wearing PJs because my life is that much of a mess, and I need to get my eyelashes redone. Like, there's a lot. I'm a hot mess, but I feel like you guys need the honest truth on how it is to be a mom, and I get that question millions of times, and I feel like a lot of moms feel like they need to hold back on how they feel, the good, the nasty, all that, because they don't want to be judged by other people, because maybe the other people aren't showing that on social media or, you know, publicly, so they just assume that you aren't supposed to feel that way. But in reality, it's actually not like that at all, and we all feel it. So this video is going to address all of that. Okay, so I'm going to start by reflecting back on my pregnancy. I want to kind of talk about how I felt throughout the trimesters and how it changed and how my body changed and how I felt. And then I can address how it was meeting my boys. So my first trimester was really, really hard because I went into a deep funk. I wouldn't call it all the way depression, but I was sad all the time. I wanted to only wear my boyfriend's clothes, I never wanted to dress up. I never really wanted to go out. I wasn't in the mood. I feel like I allowed my negative thoughts to get the best of me because I was so afraid of judgment and so afraid of my future. And I guess in a sense I was a little bit of anti-feminist, because for a second I thought, I can't do this. Like, I can't have a career and be a mom. Like, I think I always thought that way, and that's why I wanted to dedicate to my career, and I never really wanted to have kids. So I feel like there was like a lot of emotion, and everybody was so happy, and I wanted to be just as happy, and I feel like I put on a fake face of happiness because I felt like other people wouldn't understand, you know, how I actually felt inside. But it's not true. Like, you can honestly be a mom, have a career, you can do it all. Like, women are superheroes, and I have so many of them that I follow on Instagram that have just shown me that, and only you can stop yourself. Nothing can stop you, only yourself. So only those negative thoughts can actually stop you from progressing. So my second trimester was way better than my first, because my first, you know, as I said, everything I went through, plus I didn't really have much of an energy. My second trimester, I had like a burst of energy, and I was feeling a lot back to my normal self. I think that I accepted, and I think that letting it out, I thought keeping the secret that I was pregnant was making me feel better because I was in control. But in reality, telling everybody and just like removing that weight that I felt over my shoulders and having such a positive reaction back from my pregnancy, I felt like that kind of helped me be way happier my second trimester. I also found out I was having 2 little boys, which, like, at the beginning when I found out I was pregnant, I knew I was having a boy. And then I found out I was having twins, and then I was like, there's just no way I'm having 2 boys. So I convinced myself I was having a boy and a girl, and well, 2 boys. So yeah, and I was really happy about it though in the end. And so the only thing that was kind of annoying my second trimester was my back pain. I was like, if it's this bad my second trimester, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through my third trimester. I also had a really poor appetite, so I didn't have cravings and I didn't eat a lot. So that was also affecting me as well, because I feel like you need to eat a lot when you're pregnant, and I just wasn't there. And then my third trimester, I didn't have back pain, but I was so over being pregnant. Like, I did not feel like a bomb, boss, gorgeous, beautiful woman. Like, like some of these other girls feel on Instagram. It is not that pretty. I felt nasty. I didn't only feel nasty because my belly was big, but I wasn't capable of doing everything I wanted to do. I wasn't capable of, I didn't have the energy to clean. I didn't have the energy to do anything. And to me, that made me feel like dirt, because I'm always doing something. I like doing stuff. I like sleeping, which I wasn't getting much of. So in general, like, it just wasn't a pretty sight, and I wasn't happy. And overall, my mood though was better, which some people have a worse, like, quicker temper and all that. But I feel like I was a little more mellow because I realized that the little bit of energy I had, I wasn't wasting it on you, boo. Just overall, my pregnancy, I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel like I wanted to post a picture every day. I barely even took pictures while I was pregnant, like looking back. I did take my progress pictures, which honestly my mom would fight me about to take every month, but I did do those. But overall, like, I wasn't taking a ton of pictures. I wasn't feeling beautiful. And I'm very thankful for my man, because he really did try to make me feel beautiful every chance that he got. And he told me I was beautiful and that I'm wearing pregnancy very well. But, you don't be feeling that way. And it's not because you're big. It's just in general. It's just like this funk. Like, so many women make it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world to do. And it's very hard. You feel like something's, in a sense, invading your space. You feel like you just want to be done. And then once it gets to the very, very end, now you're like, I want to meet my babies. Like, I'm ready to meet my babies. So I'm eating strawberries. You got to get it when you can in this life, because if you don't, you will not eat as a mom. You don't got time to do many things when your kids are little, especially when you have two, because when one wants to wake up, the other one wants to go to sleep. It's a mess. So now, giving birth. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna have a different story than everybody else. So keep that in mind. But overall, some of the things are similar. So with induction, they put you on Pitocin, which is this drug that induces your labor, kind of what causes you to have contractions. They put that into you at a higher dose so that it'll force contractions. So I was put on Pitocin. I went into the hospital Wednesday night. And I gave birth on Friday. That's telling you a lot. So I was on Pitocin, and they were increasing it every 30 minutes, but my contractions were a minute apart for this whole time. And about 25 hours in, I want to say about 20 hours in, my doctor said, you need to get your epidural. And I was like, I don't want to do no drugs. He's like, I totally understand where you're coming from, but you are having twins. The risk is higher. And if I have to manipulate the second baby, I need to do that. And you're not going to be able to handle it. And I do not want to have to give you a C-section. The word C-section is the scariest thing in the world for me. So I was like, you got it. I thought about it, and I was like, I'm going to do what I need to do. So I got the epidural. I was petrified to get this injection. I'm like not really a drugs kind of girl. I really do like self-healing. I don't really use anything. I don't really use Tylenol. I don't really use Advil. I don't do that stuff. But it's not only that, I was so afraid to be paralyzed. Yeah, you get paralyzed if you move during that shot. The shot's like this big. It goes into your spine. And I was petrified, and I did not move. Like I was like a statue. Like the guy was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I wasn't even breathing. I wasn't, because I was that scared. And so I got that when I was 25 hours in, and I asked him, I was like, is it true that by the time you give birth, like it already wears away? And he was like, no, that's not true. You can keep upping the dose yourself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just ride this out, getting this medication, because I really needed to sleep, and there was no way I was going to push, which is another thing the doctor said. Like, there's no way I was going to push considering I hadn't slept in like 36 hours. And then the second aspect being that if I was gonna get the drugs, I might as well get them now. Why wait until later if I could get some sleep now? So it was nighttime already, so I got it. And it wasn't that painful. It stung a little bit. It wasn't too crazy, but my mind was somewhere else, so I don't know. And trust me, like, the pains hurt more than the shot, so it is what it is. That when you are on the epidural, you don't know when you need to pee, so they have to catheterize you. You don't feel it, but it's something that later on, you know, when you pee for the first time after you give birth, is something you have to take into consideration. The pain, the sensation does go away, but it is weird at the beginning. So I went 40 hours. So I went another 15 hours after I got my injection. It's true, it wears away. But it wasn't as bad as it would have been, you know, with nothing, but it was painful. And when they asked me to push, which was Friday at like 12 p.m., I decided, okay, like, I'm gonna do this. So I pushed for an hour, and then they moved me to a surgical room. So for people that are having twins, they put you in a surgical room to push, because just in case they have to give you an emergency C-section for the first one or for the second one, they want to be prepared. So in my room was my man, my doctor, a NICU doctor, a baby doctor, a nurse for each baby, my nurse, and 2 students that were watching that are going to be future OB-GYNs. Yeah, a lot of people looking at my hoo-ha, I know. But yeah, so there was no room for anybody else. Like, there was a lot going on. And I was already, like, the baby was already down there. So when they brought me in that room, it was pretty much like push a couple times and the baby will be out. They continued my Pitocin through everything. So my Pitocin was about at a 19 when I gave birth, and I got the epidural when I was around like 12 I think, 12 or 13. And yeah, so they continued the contractions. I was feeling it predominantly on my left side, which was really annoying. I would have enjoyed feeling it on both sides. Not enjoyed it, but I mean, it would have felt better, because when it's just on one side, you kind of just want to like stab yourself on that side, because it was like so annoying. I felt it on my ovary, which if any of you guys ever had like ovarian cysts, they're very annoying and they hurt. So that's how it felt. It felt on my left side, on my left ovary, and on my left side of my back. And it was just constant, and it was so annoying. And they were like, push, and it was like, don't push with your face, like push like you're trying to take a shit. And I'm like, I can't feel my butthole. Like, they're telling you to do stuff and you're like, I don't even know. So at the beginning, like, I wasn't feeling anything, and then I started feeling everything. So I'm like, I'm pushing, and she's like, good job. But they always tell you good job, but the baby's not out. Don't tell me good job until the baby is out. So then the head was out, and the doctor was like, you want to touch the head? I'm like, no, I don't want to touch the head. The doctor's like, you want to touch the head? And I was like, I don't want to touch the head. He grabbed my hand, he touched the head, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just need this baby out of my vagina right now. And so he came out, and he was so big and so beautiful. So the first one was Xavier, and he was 6 pounds 8 ounces, 18.5 inches, and he was born at 1:53 p.m. So I pushed for almost an hour ish, and they said I did a great job. So I'm like, that's all fine and dandy, but when is the next one coming out? So they took pictures, and they put the baby on top of me, and it felt amazing. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's still another one in there. So then they had me give birth to the second baby, which was an hour later. So with him, I didn't have to push that much. But at the beginning, while we were waiting, the baby was really high up. So the doctor kept putting his hand in there. He had to break the other water, and he had to make sure that the baby was dropping. If not, then they couldn't do it vaginally. So the baby did drop, and he told me to start pushing. With him, I barely pushed. Out came Zaire. The whole time, I'm like, how are we gonna tell them apart? Because in my mind, I'm like, they're gonna come out identical. Even though they were fraternal, I'm saying they were gonna look a lot alike as babies. Well, he came out, and the doctor was like, they look nothing alike. And I was like, what? And he's like, nothing. So don't worry about it. You're gonna know the difference. And I was like, for real? And Tyler was like, yeah, they look nothing alike. And I was like, oh my goodness. So they were like, oh, he's so cute. The first one came out mad. Like, the doctor was like, why is he so angry? And the second one, he's like, oh my God, he's so cute. And they put them both on a table, and they were holding hands, and it was the cutest thing ever. It was so cute, but I was still on the table because they cut me. So they cut me open down there so that the heads could come through. And they did use local anesthetic. They put an injection in there. And so I didn't feel the cutting, but they had to cut it more later on. So they had to stitch me up. So I'm laying on the table. I want to know what's going on over there, but I'm over here. Zaire was born 2:42 p.m. and he weighed 6 pounds, and he was 19.5 inches. So that's good so far. And he's stitching me up, and the cords are still hanging out of my vagina. He's calling people over like, oh, come see it. This is the coolest umbilical cord I've ever seen. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, just get it out. And so he's like, don't push. And they kept the Pitocin in so that I'd just let it out. So I let it out, and then they finished sewing up, which he was down there for a minute. So I was like, damn, you tore me up. And he was like, well, do you want it to look good or not? And I was like, yeah, like, take your time. So he stitched that up, and I was ready to go to the room. Like, I'm like, ooh, everybody told me that you give birth, you leave, you're out, you're done. That was not the case, honey. Okay, so after that, they took me back to the room, and I'm thinking it's over. No. The nurse comes over, she checks a couple things, and then she pushes down on my stomach, like to release all the blood that's inside of there and to make sure that your uterus is coming down correctly. It is worse than labor. Worse. And nobody tells you about it. So I'm telling you guys, I'm warning you guys. It's not done after you push it out all beautiful, all... No, it's not. It's not beautiful. It hurts very, very much. But then after they push it every single day after that. When you get up for the first time from your bed, that's painful. I actually fainted twice, well, almost fainted twice trying to get up because I did lose a lot of blood with having had twins. I did lose a lot of blood. So when I got up, I lost my hearing. I felt like I was losing my sight. I was just all the way bad. But then I want to say the second time at night, I was better and I was fine. And a week later, I was like, I never even gave birth. Your downstairs parts aren't the same. Like, sensations don't feel the same and stuff like that. But it does come back. You just got to give your body some time, which is something I didn't have patience for. Another thing is that your belly literally hangs because you had all that stuff inside and then you didn't. So all your skin is out. But if you are breastfeeding, girl, it comes down. It comes down so fast. Like, my stomach looks like amazing compared to when I was pregnant. My belly was huge. I will put a picture. It was huge. So yeah, I needed to do something. So yeah, I'm grateful for my babies. And the one thing I'm gonna say that really helped me is connecting with a group of girls, well, 2 girls, and we have a group chat. And I honestly would not have made it through my pregnancy nor post-pregnancy without them. They're absolutely amazing, and I'm telling you guys that if you guys have the chance or have any friends who've been through it, they're gonna be your ride or die support system, because I can't even begin to explain how much it helped me. And I'm so grateful for having them in my life post babies, because we all had our babies around the same time. So my kids have forever friends, and I have 2 forever friends. So pregnancy does bring out some good stuff. It also makes you meet some good people, because even outside of just my group chat, I've met some girls that I've never spoken to before via Instagram, that were from my hometown and from where I live now, that like are moms and are going through it, and I've been able to connect with them on a different level. And I just feel like I'm so happy that I experienced this, because I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, and I've met people that could potentially be amazing friends. So there are good things that come out of pregnancy, and of course, your beautiful babies. In my next video, I'm going to try to address my feelings postpartum, because everybody thinks that everything is so glorious all the time, and it's not. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, but mommy duties call, and gots to go. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. There will be more about the realness of being a mom. And yeah, so thank you guys so much.